So I want to be involved in helping the church and supporting the church. How do I go about doing that? Being involved in ministry and so forth. So we've been going in a series of things of working that out. This is part of a larger series of videos called Virtual Coach. If you go to our YouTube channel, Bethel Pittsburgh, go under playlist, you'll find a playlist titled Virtual Coach. And then there you'll notice that they're placed in category order. The title of each video will say Virtual Coach and then a category. This is under pursuit of the mission, and part of the way we can do that is the way we interact with people on our gatherings, so Wednesday and Sunday morning. Wednesday evening and Sunday morning. And so how do I participate in that? So one of the things that I don't think we think about enough, and I've alluded or spoken about this part of the aspect in some other videos, and that is that the stronger the church is that I'm a part of, and the answer isn't to move around till I find the best church. It's the church that I'm a part of, the stronger it is, the more beneficial it will be to me as an individual. But the more I am beneficial to the church, the stronger the church will be. And so it's not a matter of just sitting around and waiting for the church to become stronger. It's a matter of me choosing to be a part of why the church becomes stronger. And it can be other-centered, because that's going to help the church out. It's going to help the individuals involved. It could be self-centered, and that it's going to help me as an individual if this church becomes stronger. And so how can I be a part of making the church stronger? And maybe some of the things you could ask yourself is the things I'm doing and saying, even outside of the church, because you're influencing people and the way they'll engage in the church everywhere you go. So the way I'm engaging people outside of the church as well as inside of the church, is this going to encourage people to attend this church or not? Is this going to encourage people to get involved in ministry or not? Is this going to encourage people to give or not? Is this going to encourage people to help out, to be pleasant, to engage in worship, to pay attention to the preaching, to engage in discussion, to witness, to share their faith? All of those things, to grow in their faith, all of those things. My demeanor and the words I'm saying and the way I'm interacting with others, is it going to help people participate in all that, or is it going to discourage them from doing that? And that alone would probably be a significant guide to help you be a part of strengthening the church. But you still might say, well, I don't know specifically what that looks like, other than to make sure I don't do bad things. Well, maybe a handful of things to consider pursuing. One is to pursue unity. So I need to know the Bible well enough to know what are core principles. What are things that are, to not do this or to do this would be in violation of clear biblical teaching. And when I am aware of what those are, then when the church is, now it doesn't mean I can't express my opinion, but I need to make sure I'm being respectful and not attempting to be manipulative. But when my opinion is different than the church's, and I've respectfully expressed that with the idea of not being controlling, and it still went a direction that was opposed to what my opinion was, I need to learn to let some of those things go for the sake of unity. So again, I might not be pleased with the direction, but it seems to be where the group's going, and it's not unbiblical, so I'm going to be okay with that. Even if I have a strong impression in my spirit that, no, this is the direction God wants it to go, but that's not where the individual or where the groups went, then I need to let some things go. If it's clearly unbiblical, then that's where you stand your ground and maybe you go elsewhere. But if it's not a clearly biblical matter, then I need to let some things go. I also need to be a little gracious with imperfections. And so if, let's say the preaching, there's a mistake in it, especially if, the reference number is incorrect or something minute like that, or if the worship team, sang off key or forgot a lyric somewhere in there, I need to just learn to be gracious for some of these imperfections. If there's an imperfection within the building or an imperfection within some social engagement or a program or whatever, if there are imperfections, I need to be a little gracious. It doesn't mean we shouldn't work towards improvement and growth, but it's just defeating if you're going to just keep nitpicking and pointing out flaws. And so these are ways, if we pull back on that is a way that we can pursue encouraging unity within the body. So if you see other people doing that, try to encourage that. Be sympathetic and hear where they're coming from. Try to seek understanding, but at the same time, encourage people that if it's not truly a biblical matter, try to encourage people to let it go. Maybe ask them, what's going to happen if we move in that direction? What's going to happen if you keep fighting about it and complaining about it? And try to help people be thoughtful. Is that imperfection, is that really something that is worth pointing out? And again, try to encourage that, foster that unity outlook. Another is to be committed, just to make sure that you're there. Make sure you're there on Sundays, make sure you're there on Wednesdays, be there early if you can, stay a little later if you can, but be committed to be there every time there's the opportunity. Contribute financially. Well, actually, back that up. Being there, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in other videos, being there is very helpful because there's more energy, there's more assurance and confidence in what's happening when there's people that are there. And so your presence, even if you're not saying anything, pays a lot of dividends in the direction of the strengthening of the group as a whole, particularly on the emotional end. Contribute financially. So the more you can give financially, the more the church has resources to do more than what they have. We have to be responsible with the money, and so we will take care of the higher priority items first, and sometimes those are more on the maintenance end, the sustaining end of things, and so it's not glamorous, but they're the essentials. The more money we have, the more we can branch out into expanding and doing other types of things, but it takes money to do that. Then there is encouraging support of the church. So, like I said before, if people are speaking negatively, try to bring that down. Be careful complaining about the church, especially to people outside the church, because, I went to this restaurant, the food and the service was really lousy. You want to go with me to lunch there? No one's going to want to do that. And so keep that in mind on how you might be negatively impacting the church by speaking negatively about it. Doesn't mean you can't be honest, doesn't mean you can't have someone to talk to, but just keep that in mind. Do you want the church to become stronger? Then have a little bit of a filter when it comes to things that you're saying, and then verbally encourage, lift up the church, speak about the church positively, encourage those involved for doing the things that they're doing, encourage them to keep doing that. It's that kind of thing that's going to help encourage involvement and support. And just encourage others to be in the group in general. So every aspect there is, encourage them to come to Sunday services and to come regularly. People inside and outside of the church, encourage them to come to the discussion group on Wednesday night. Encourage them to be involved in a ministry team, to participate in outreach, to be involved in the Bible engagement app, to be involved in mentorship, to give financially. Encourage people to be involved. And the more we foster that kind of atmosphere, the more people will inevitably participate and do those things, and the more we'll experience growth. The group will become stronger, and by default, you as an individual will become stronger. So I hope that, if nothing else, for your own benefit, pursue strengthening the group, the church itself. If you have any questions on that, leave that in the comments below. I'd be glad to answer that. Or if you would like to grow in your faith in person and you live in the Pittsburgh area, we would love for you to join us at Bethel Assembly of God, 2501 Staten Street, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. Or if you can't join us in person, you can always join us live stream. We stream our Sunday 10 a.m. services live on our YouTube channel, Bethel Pittsburgh. We hope to see you then, but may God bless you.